If you're feeling it as a fan and an audience member, can you imagine what the writer of the song is feeling when he delivers it?
So I went through that a lot. People ask me, how do you get through that? And when I first write them, it hurts like that,
Yeah.
right? I usually know somebody goes, how do you know your song's done? I said, I cry.
Wow.
Truly. Like if I've got it done, it's so cathartic to me that I will weep.
So
And
it's
I
like a
go, okay,
grieving process once
that's
it's
it.
done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just so therapeutic for me. But when I get out and perform it, that initial time, I'm terrified, shaky, hands sweaty, and I am closing my eyes. I'm not watching people. But now I've gotten to a point where I have grieved it. I went through that process. Now the song has become for someone else, right? It already served its purpose when I wrote it and shared it for the first time, and now I don't feel the heaviness of that when I sing it every night. I
Yeah.
mean, there are of course times, like if it's a certain time of year or a season, if it's Christmas, or if something really cool happens, like rain falling through a building when I'm singing it and I think it's some sort of God wink, like I
Hmm.
will feel things, but I don't. Now I'm looking for that connection, and that someone else is moving through my words and feeling what I felt when I initially wrote it. So that's kind of like a gift that keeps giving. I don't have to suffer the pain that I felt when I went through it, and then when I wrote it, I get to just let it be whatever anybody else needs it to be.
Is it
It
the
doesn't
same way when
belong
you're
to me
telling the
anymore.
story behind the song? Like in a listening room environment or something where you tell the story from where a song came from. Are you done with the grieving then too? You're able to get through that also.
Pretty much, and I probably don't go into a lot of detail. I've
Yeah.
noticed myself being a little more reserved and shy and having my head down and not able to make eye contact when I'm talking. A lot of times I do silly things between songs because my songs are so heavy that I have to be charming and funny in between songs to try to lighten the
Right.
mood. They get a little comedy show between the heaviness of my words, but um yeah, I think so. I think you just get to a place where it becomes, I felt it. I've done it,
Mhm.
Now, not numb. Numb's not the right word. I mean, I guess it does feel that way sometimes, but yeah, it's just not mine to grieve anymore. Now
Yeah,
it's just
that's
something I get
so
to
cool,
share.
man. It's just the therapeutic nature of music, right? And
Yeah.
it's so cool the way you put that. Like it's like a grieving process. I'd never heard it that way. One thing I wanted to talk to with you is because like I obviously I've listened to every single song you've ever written and put out. Like I love your music so much. You're you know you're so lyrically gifted in delivering a lyric vocally as well, which is a huge, in my opinion, a huge strength of yours.
Thank
But
you.
but I want to say one thing I've noticed over the catalog that you have is the women characters in your songs almost always win. They're almost always the victor. Are you aware of that? Is that a strategy behind your music? Like you're in such a rotten place, but like you always come out of it, and the characters in your songs always come out of it better for it.
I mean, I've lived it.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely not. No one's ever asked me that. That's a great question. I don't know that I even realized that. I think it felt like very much like suffering when writing it. But I do feel that way
Mm-hmm.
about myself. I feel like no matter what I've had to go through, whether it was self-inflicted or not, I feel like I've always come out on the other end of it better and smarter and wiser, and that's very cool. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, of course. I think it's so interesting because when you're going through those life experiences, I've also been divorced. 16 years and got divorced. Thankfully, I'm with the love of my life now, so it all turned out the best. But I went through all of that. I understand the dark place that I was in, and I can't imagine myself trying to write that in 3 minute intervals
Right.
without knowing what the outcome is, right? And then
Uh-huh.
making the outcome positive from that dark place that I was in. So I don't
Right.
know how you could possibly do that because like most of the outcomes in your songs are coming from a positive place. Just wishful thinking, is that part of your grieving process or what?
Maybe, or also just I do feel like I am a very strong, independent woman, and so
Of
maybe
course.
there is a part of me that always wants to see that person figure out a way to accept help and be softer and not feel the need to do everything on her own. Like maybe it is wishful thinking for my own self too, as I like navigate. Uh, I feel wiser I'll be 43 in 2 weeks. I feel more grounded and wiser than I've been. I guess that's the goal of aging, right?
Mhm.
But everyone always talks about like how great their 40s are, and I got divorced, unexpectedly. My husband left me right after I turned 40, and I had just broken a leg and I had just broken a hand, and I just had a terribly hard season of life. And that came on the heels of it. And it hurt deeply. And I wasn't expected it. I was blindsided by it. But all that to say, and I'm getting teary about it, but I have found so much growth and joy and friendship and strength and an ability to bounce back and grow as a mother and as a woman and as an artist. And more good things have happened since that hardship than I could have ever imagined. So I think it's all about outlook. And I
Yeah.
think we can choose to wallow, or we can choose to use things as a life lesson and a teaching tool. And I was raised with a mother who did that, and who I watched her lose her child, and I watched my brother abuse drugs for a decade and watched her survive that right after losing my sister. And then my dad left after 30 something years, and just hit after hit. And she's still standing, and she's still graceful and kind. And she's an inspiration to me. And so I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You just love people and you forgive them and you're kind and you know,
Yep.
what else can we
And you have
do?
a daughter too, right? So like
I do.
you
Yeah.
it is your responsibility to take the things that your mom taught you, the lessons that
Yeah.
were indebted to you from her, and pass
Right.
those on, right? Not just
Yeah.
in the way that your mom taught you this, and then you just give it to your daughter. No, it's
Right.
your mom taught you this, then you add your experiences to the things that you learned,
Thanks,
and then you
Oprah. Thanks, Oprah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't look like Oprah at all, okay? And but I'll take 0.1% of her bank account.
Okay.
That's for
Okay.
sure.
First
Um
tears of the week, man. My kid graduates Friday, so I know this just is the beginning,
well,
but
congratulations on that. That's a huge
thank you.
accomplishment for you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to chat about that in a little while about your
Yeah.
daughter and kind of balancing that